It looks like the Chicago Bears quarterback situation has been solved before we even hit training camp, as Bears head coach Matt Nagy told Chris Collinsworth that there is no possibility that Justin Fields is a starting quarterback week 1. He's quoted to say Andy Dalton is the starter, Justin Fields is number 2, and we're going to stick with this plan. You've got to trust the plan. So that statement right there pretty much ends the quarterback competition before he even gets started. But before I get into my thoughts on this entire situation, make sure you guys leave this video a like. That also helps this channel to grow tremendously. And if you are a first-time viewer, go ahead, click that subscribe button and notification bell so you will not miss a single video. But let's get into this Bears quarterback situation. Without further ado, let's dive into it.
I'm striving to get rich. That's why I almost went 2 years without buying shoes and feet. Things change now. My mom hearing me with my music and she look a little proud.
To be 100% honest with you guys, I love the fact that the Bears made the aggressive move to move up to the 11th overall pick to select Justin Fields. As you guys may or may not know, I am a diehard Ohio State fan as well as a diehard Chicago Bears fan. So when the Bears actually did make that move to select Justin Fields in the draft, I might be one of the biggest supporters behind that move because of my fandom. Now, I will absolutely love to see the fact of Justin Fields being the week 1 starter for the Chicago Bears. But to be 100% honest with you guys, this is the exact scenario I seen playing out, as they were not going to rush Justin Fields' development in the process. They were not going to make the same mistakes that they made with Mr. Trubisky with rushing things too quickly and ended up ruining his career and a couple of Bears offensive seasons. As much as Justin Fields, I think, is way more talented than Trubisky, I still to this point believe that Justin Fields was the absolutely most talented quarterback in this draft outside of Trevor Lawrence. It is not as a surprise that head coach Matt Nagy is making this move early and getting things in place, that Andy Dalton is going to be the week 1 starter for the Chicago Bears in this 2021 season. I was one against the Andy Dalton move when it first happened. We didn't know what they were going to do coming draft time. We didn't know if they were going to be able to move up to select one of the top guys in this draft. So how things played out, I really think played out in a very good way for the Chicago Bears, not only in 2021, but for years going forward. I agree 100% with the fact of Andy Dalton being the Bears starting quarterback day 1. Now that we have Justin Fields, now that we have a plan in place to develop him, now that we have things in place, not only with the quarterback position, but the weapons around him, to have this Bears offense succeed not only in 2021, but also in years going forward. It is absolutely a good thing to get all things in place before training camp starts and before all the questions that, number 1, Dalton will have to answer, number 2, Matt Nagy will have to answer, and 3, Justin Fields will have to answer, and also 4, questions that Ryan Pace will have to answer. So I like the Bears making this move now and Nagy making this move now to keep things stable and to keep things as an even keel for the Bears as a roster, for the Bears as an organization going into training camp in July. Now, a lot of people, including myself, will absolutely love, and I mean love, to see Justin Fields take the field for the Bears Sunday night, week 1 against the LA Rams. But when you look at what the Bears' history has been in developing quarterbacks, when you look at the organization's handling of the entire 2017 offseason and that Mr. Trubisky situation, which I did a video on a couple of months ago, which I will leave in the description below so you guys can check that out when this video is complete. But that entire offseason of 2017 is, I think, a complete opposite of the way the Bears are handling this offseason now. Of course, Andy Dalton is not going to be the quarterback of your future, like they planned on having Mike Glennon signing him to that deal. You draft the guy in the draft, Mitchell Trubisky in 2017, Justin Fields this year. And I think it was putting more pressure on Trubisky to start right away, even with the signing of Glennon, versus the Bears handling this situation is taking their time with Justin Fields and letting him develop. Even if he is ready to play week 1, the Bears are handling this situation correctly by not rushing the process of having Justin Fields take the field and be the quarterback of the Bears' future. Andy Dalton, I think, still can be a very serviceable quarterback. Andy Dalton can still, I think, game manage and have this team still at a good ship going forward, because I feel at some point during this 2021 season, we are going to see Justin Fields be named the starting quarterback, whether where Matt Nagy thinks he is absolutely ready and all the boxes have to be checked to be played, or whether Andy Dalton comes out and struggles. I feel at some point during the season, Justin Fields will eventually be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. But I am glad to see that they are going to take this slowly, that they are not going to rush the entire process despite all of the things that they were able to do on the offensive side of the ball this offseason by retaining Allen Robinson, by drafting Daz Newsome, by bringing in Marquise Goodwin and Damiere Byrd, Damian Williams in the backfield. Tarik Cohen is coming back off of that torn ACL injury to pair with Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet. And you add to this offensive line by letting go of Charles Leno Jr. and bringing in Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borom in the draft. So the Bears' handling of this, I think, is a big step forward from the way that they handled things in 2017. Now, Justin Fields is an absolutely talented quarterback. Justin Fields, I think, skill set is a guy that can step in and play week 1. But the good thing is that they are not going to rush it. Andy Dalton, I said, can be a very serviceable quarterback in a role. And he has familiarity with Bill Lazor, with Bill Lazor being the offensive coordinator during some of Andy Dalton's time with the Cincinnati Bengals. So you have that familiarity. Then you also have the fact that Andy Dalton can help mentor Justin Fields with this Bears offense and the knowledge and some of the terminology to help kind of speed that development process going forward. So the Bears, I think, are handling this situation right. As much as I personally would love to see Justin Fields take the field for week 1, they are making this move in the right direction and keeping Andy Dalton as QB1, as they did say that Andy Dalton was going to be the QB1 upon signing him to that 1-year, $10 million deal in free agency. It is all remained to be seen whether Matt Nagy pulls the plug on Dalton early or he lets the entire season play out and have Andy Dalton start the year. It has remained to be seen how that entire situation plays out. But I'm glad the Bears are handling it this way versus rushing things like they did with Mitchell Trubisky and ultimately not forcing it like they did with Mitch. Despite all the reports and quotes that have been coming out from many camp at OTAs that Justin Fields has been absolutely impressive, they are still going to go in the direction of Andy Dalton. And to be honest, I've seen this situation playing out. I am actually a fan of them making this decision now versus waiting till training camp ends and naming the starter right before week 1 Sunday night against the LA Rams. As much as I was against Andy Dalton being a Bears starting quarterback, I really see a scenario where this benefits the Bears not just now, but in years going forward. So the Bears have made the decision quickly and swiftly, despite the reports of Justin Fields being impressive. They are not leaving things in the air. They're going to be firm with their plan and going to stick with their plan. And they named Andy Dalton quarterback 1, week 1 against the Rams. But that is all I have for you guys today. Make sure you guys leave this video a like. Do you agree or disagree with the Bears actually having Andy Dalton be the QB1 week 1? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to see this conversation go forward, and I love to see what you guys think. And also, if you have gotten to this point, click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you will not miss a single video. But I am APWSPORTS signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe, have a great next day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.